Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving into one of those questions that people have been asking forever, and we're looking at a text that gives a pretty surprising and powerful answer. So, what will the last day actually be like? Well, according to the text we're looking at, the answer isn't some big, scary mystery to be feared. Nope. It's actually a pattern, something that's already been laid out for us. Okay, let's dive into this. The source we're looking at argues that if you really want to get a handle on the end, you've got to go way back to the beginning, or at least a very specific beginning, the story of Abraham and Isaac on Mount Moriah. This wasn't just some historical event, you see. It's presented as the kind of prophetic rehearsal, a blueprint for the end. I mean, think about this moment, the command to sacrifice your own son, Yitzḥaq, or Isaac. The text we're exploring says this was so much more than just a test of one man's faith. It's actually framed as a prophetic rehearsal, a foundational pattern for a massive, cosmic event that would literally shape everything to come. And get this, the location is absolutely crucial. Abraham calls the place Yahuah Yireh, which means the one who sees and provides. And this spot, Mount Moriah, which later becomes Jerusalem, well, it's marked as the appointed place where the Creator's provision is made known. It's like a signpost for the future. So, what's the point of all this? Why this whole intricate plan? Well, the text boils it down to one single powerful desire from the Creator. To tabernacle, or, to just live among people. That's the end game. That's what everything is pointing towards. Okay, so if the goal is to dwell with humanity, you gotta ask, who exactly are we talking about here? To get to the heart of that, the source points us to another really important story. This time, it's about Isaac's twin sons, Jacob, you probably know him as Jacob, and Esau, or Esau. And this family story, wow, it becomes this incredible metaphor for the divided nature of, well, all of us. It's about a conflict between two different natures that are born from the same womb. On one side, you've got Jacob, who gets renamed Yisrael, which means the one who struggles with Elohim and prevails. He represents that spiritual path, the one who wrestles with the divine. And then you have Esau. He represents the earthly, the fleshly path, the one that's all about what's right here, right now. All right, so this is where it all leads. It brings us to what the text calls the Day of Yahuah. And here's the key thing. This day isn't about random chaos and destruction. No, it's about bringing crystal clear clarity to that deep-seated division we just talked about, that split that started with two brothers and spread out across all of humanity. So, what happens on this day of clarity? The first rule is simple. What is whole remains. If something is unified, if it's in sync with the Creator's purpose, it stands, it endures. But anything that's divided, anything that's carrying that internal conflict, that Yaakov and Esau dynamic, and is separated from that divine purpose, well, that's brought to a moment of truth. It's judged. And then there's the third principle. And this one is all about hope. Because for anything that's willing to be reconciled, anything that chooses to get back in alignment with a plan, it's not just about surviving. It's about transformation. It's about being made completely, beautifully new. So how does all this clarity happen? What's the mechanism here? Well, the text describes the Messiah's arrival not as some, soft and sentimental event. Not at all. It's described as an intensely purifying force, like a consuming fire. And this idea of a consuming fire, it's really important to understand that the text doesn't frame this as punishment. It's more like a refiner's fire, a force so powerful it just burns away everything that can't coexist with the Creator's nature. It boils reality down to what's pure and true. So what happens to the stuff that can't be reconciled? That path of Esau that just refuses to turn back? Well, the text says the ultimate consequence isn't eternal torment. It's something different. It's a complete removal from existence. They call it the second death, which is really a state of being completely forgotten, erased from memory. Okay, so after all that, the clarity, the purifying fire, what's left? What's the final act? Well, according to the source, the grand finale of history isn't destruction at all. It's the opposite. It's total, absolutely breathtaking restoration. And this wasn't some plan B. The text makes it super clear that this restoration has been in the works for a long time. It lays out this whole historical chain of preparation, showing how this final outcome has been unfolding step by step, generation after generation, right from the very beginning. And we're not just talking about saving a handful of people here. The text is really ambitious. The ultimate goal, it says, is the restoration of all matters. It's about healing all of creation, bringing everything back to its original harmonious design. And that brings us to the ultimate end game presented in the text, a complete unification where, as it says, Elohim may be all in all. That deep separation, the one symbolized by those two brothers in one womb, is finally completely healed. So the explainer leaves us with this final thought. What would it actually feel like for that division within ourselves and within everything around us to be made truly and eternally one?